Hello everyone, welcome back to today's video. I want to thank you for coming to join me today to get into God's Word. And if you're new here, welcome. But if you're returning, welcome back. It's nice to be with you guys again. So we're just going to get right into it. We are reading from the Bible as we have been the last little while together, and we're going back into Ecclesiastes. And today we are going into chapter 4 of Ecclesiastes. So that's what we're doing today. And I'm really excited to feed our spirits with the one thing that will sustain us in all time, through this time and through the next time. So let's get into it today. As I said, we're going to be doing chapter 4 of Ecclesiastes, and the Bible I'm using is my second Catholic edition, the Revised Standard Version from Ascension. The Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 4. Injustice of life. Again, I saw all the oppressions that are practiced under the sun, and behold, the tears of the oppressed, and they had no one to comfort them. On the side of their oppressors there was power, and there was no one to comfort them. And I thought the dead who are already dead more fortunate than the living who are still alive. But better than both is he who has not yet been, and has not seen the evil deeds that are done under the sun. Then I saw that all toil and all skill in work come from a man's envy of his neighbor. This also is vanity and a striving after wind. The fool folds his hand and eats his own flesh. Better is a handful of quietness than 2 hands full of toil and a striving after wind. Again, I saw vanity under the sun. A person who has no one, either son or brother, yet there is no end to all his toil, and his eyes are never satisfied with riches, so that he never asks, "For whom am I toiling and depriving myself of pleasure?" This also is vanity and an unhappy business. Value of friendship. 2 are better than 1, because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him who is alone when he falls and has not another to lift him up. Again, if 2 lie together, they are warm. But how can one be warm alone? And though a man might prevail against one who is alone, 2 will withstand him. A threefold cord is not quickly broken. Better is a poor and wise youth than an old and foolish king, who will no longer take advice, even though he had gone from prison to the throne, or in his own kingdom had been born poor. I saw all the living who move about under the sun, as well as that youth who was to stand in his place. There was no end of all the people. He was over all of them. Yet those who come later will not rejoice in him. Surely this also is vanity and a striving after wind. So I feel like this chapter, especially the beginning, is a lot deeper than, let's say, the last chapter that we read. It's really talking about, it's entitled Injustice of Life. It's talking about the oppressed, and behold, the tears of the oppressed, and they had no one to comfort them. And then, it's in verse 2, and I thought the dead who are already dead more fortunate than the living who are still alive. But better than both is he who has not yet been, and has not seen the evil deeds that are done under the sun. That's really deep. People that say the Bible's boring, the Bible has nothing to offer. I honestly think you just don't know. You just clearly have not read the Bible, because these are things it's so true. Especially, as you get older, right? You get older in life, you experience life, you just realize that there really is wickedness and oppression, all types of things. I'm not going to get into specifics, but there are evil things that are happening, like wars. War is really what I think about when I think about people that are being oppressed. You know, that's why you need God, because like there's going to be evil things that happen on this planet, and it's going to continue being evil. And I mean, we all know from, if you've read the full Bible, you know that it's not going to get better. It's like, it's just going to keep getting worse before it gets better, right? So that's why you need God. Like, you really need God, and especially as you get older, because there's going to be trials and tribulations, and you need Jesus. You need a solid foundation to get through these things. And because there is injustice, there is oppression that happens. Better is a handful of quietness than 2 hands full of toil and a striving after wind. You know what I love? Every like verse in the Ecclesiastes, it always comes back to vanity. Like, everything is vanity. Everything is vanity. Like, that's what everything is. There was actually another part of this that I wanted to read that I really liked. This one. So this is verse 4 at the beginning of the chapter. Then I saw that all toil and all skill and work come from a man's envy of his neighbor. This also is vanity and a striving after wind. It's so interesting because, I mean, really, when you think about it, like, when you're young and you're like thinking, oh, what do I want my career to be? I mean, you look to people that you're like, I want what they have, so that's what my career is going to be. But I mean, that's literally what it's saying here, and it's so true. It's like, you look at people whose life you're like, yeah, I'm envious of that. Like, that's the life that I want. Like, so you're like, let me do what they're doing. The Bible, baby. And then we're going to go back into this part, the second part of the chapter, which is value of friendship. I really just like this part because it's so true. For if they fall, the beginning, verse 9, two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him who is alone when he falls and has not another to lift him up. Like, we need community. People need each other so much. Isolating yourself will be the death of you. You need people. You don't need a ton of people, but you need a few solid people in your life that you can lean on and depend on. We can't go through this life alone. We're not meant to. You have to think about it, guys. If we were meant to go through this life alone, there would not be as many people on the planet. Like, there would be very few people where we live in little isolated situations by ourselves. We're not supposed to be alone. Okay. And that was the one thing with like COVID and the lockdowns. And I don't want to get into that discussion, but it's like that, you know, caused a problem for people. Like, we need people. So don't allow your anxiety and whatever to make you think that you just want to be alone by yourself. Like, yes, isolation and spending time with God alone is great, but like, at the end of the day, you cannot spend your whole life alone. Better is a poor and wise youth than an old and foolish king who will no longer take advice, even though he had gone from prison to the throne, or in his own kingdom had been poor. That's really talking about how, like, you know, once you gain power on this planet, you know, power, and you can control things, you really just don't take advice from people. Sometimes you can get really stuck in your head and think that you're the best and that you know everything, when you don't. Like, God's the one that put you there, you know, got you out of your situation to maybe make you a king, but you know, God's the one who put you there. Don't forget that. Okay, I think that's where we're going to end it here. So that was chapter 4 in Ecclesiastes, and we're going to be getting to the next chapter in our next video. But I just wanted to say that I love getting to spend this time with you and just getting into God's word, and it's lovely. It's beautiful. So I hope that you enjoyed this time together, and we will see each other when we're going into chapter 5. So I'll see you guys in the next video.